Hello, everybody, and welcome to this exclusive interview with Riham Sedik, the event director for Intersec Saudi Arabia. We're going to be talking about the evolution of the show over recent years and its future direction going forward. Riham, thank you so much for joining me. And just to start, could you give us a brief insight into who you are and who Intersec is?
Thank you, Rebecca, for having me today. I'm Riham Sedik. I'm heading the Intersec Saudi Arabia for the last 3 years, since the relaunch in 2022. And I've been working with the brand for the last 5 years here in Messe Frankfurt. So thank you again for having me today.
Intersec Saudi Arabia has been seeing quite significant growth since its inception in 2017, as you alluded to. So could you share some of the key milestones in the show's development and kind of what factors you attribute this success to?
Yeah, so Intersec Saudi Arabia has been running for almost like 5 years now. We're preparing now for our 6th edition. So the launch for the show happened back in 2017 and it was in Jeddah. And it was very interesting having the show there in Jeddah. It was very successful since 2017 until 2019. And in the year of 2019, we're thinking about the move to Riyadh, knowing that Riyadh is the center of the kingdom with the government and the key stakeholders being seated there. And then because of COVID, unfortunately, we had to pause for another 2 years. And this was a good chance for us to actually prepare and work harder to relaunch our show in 22. Once we relaunched the show in Riyadh, it has seen a magnificent growth in the kingdom with the support we're getting from the whole stakeholders, government, and even the international companies who are looking at the kingdom, taking consideration how big the kingdom is going now. So there are a lot of projects happening, a lot of developments, and a lot of preparation coming for the 2030. So I see this is the golden era for us, and we're working closely with everyone there for the show.
And a fantastic venue as well always helps. And
the venue is good for us now that we are actually outgrowing our venue. So it has been a significant growth. So we can say that we almost have grown since 22 until now around 180% to what we were expecting. So it's an incredible thing that Saudi now is moving towards security, fire and safety, and how they are working closely with all the private companies coming from the international and the local markets to help them evolve.
And you mentioned briefly a little bit about the Saudi Arabian government. So I just wanted to pause on that for a second. Obviously, the Saudi Arabian government has been increasingly supportive of security and safety initiatives, like you said, around Saudi Arabia. But can you elaborate on how government support has impacted the growth and success of Intersec Saudi Arabia specifically?
Yeah, so one of the main goals for the government in Saudi is working closely and trying to recruit more international companies to grow the security, fire and safety sectors within the kingdom to match with the developments and the milestones they are having. So we can say that since 2017, we had the support coming from the Saudi Civil Defense. And when we relaunched back in 22, we again got the Saudi Civil Defense to support us, who actually helped us to extend our support through the Ministry of Interior. And the Ministry of Interior have supported the show across 22 and 23. And for this year, it's a good support again from them. And in addition to that, we have a new support coming from the High Commission for Industrial Security. So every year we're getting bigger and bigger support from the government because they do believe in the capabilities of the kingdom and what they have to offer for international companies to come in. And at the same time, there are the giga projects that are happening and they are still looking for more companies to come. So for this year, for example, we have more than 28 countries coming at the show, which shows how much the international world is getting interested in the kingdom. And again, the government is trying to give all the support for those companies to come in and show their business and help them to establish their business in the kingdom.
And could you provide some insights into any specific partnerships or collaborations, whether government or external, that have been, particularly pivotal for this event?
So we have a lot of support coming from the local and the international. One of the most significant support we're getting, as I mentioned, was coming from the Ministry of Interior, which is actually helping us to have a delegation program coming from the ministry itself department. And for last year, for example, we had around 15 departments coming at the show, visiting the show and going through the whole exhibition, networking with all the companies over there, trying to do business with them. And after the show, when we went back to our exhibitors and asked them how this actually turned out to them, they mentioned that some of those conversations actually turned into business. And it was helpful for them. And actually, this helped this year for them to come bigger and bigger because they have a greater footprint now in Saudi. Another partnership we're having with the Trade Commission of the United Kingdom. And we have actually a national pavilion coming at the show, and it's being represented by top companies there from the UK, along with top officials that would be present at the show. We had some of them coming last year, and for this year we are expecting even more. And other countries are looking to have similar presence. So when we say that Intersec Saudi is happening, it's happening with the support of the local government, and international countries as well are looking to invest and work within the kingdom.
Mm. And talking about all these partnerships and how many people are going to be at the show, it's quite important to also talk about networking. So is there any specific ways that the show is facilitating networking or knowledge sharing among industry professionals that are attending? And perhaps how has this evolved over time?
Yeah, so we actually have our premium club, which is actually the buyers club, where we host all the buyers coming from Saudi, especially from the Giga projects and other projects happening in the kingdom and government. This was until last year, we were having this as one club. Everyone was seated there along with government to network with exhibitors and have any meetings they are looking to have, and we facilitate those meetings for them. The evolvement of that for this year, we try to have a separate atmosphere for the governments through the Majlis, where the whole governments are actually hosted in that Majlis, and any meeting that the government has to run will be running in that Majlis. And the Premium Club will be more focused on the business-driven conversations that companies need to have with the project owners or any business meeting they need to have, and we are facilitating this. Through the Premium Club itself, we have a lot of MOUs that has been signed with international companies, and also for this year, we're expecting a few MOUs to be signed during the show through different entities in Saudi.
And I suppose moving on to the million-dollar question, are there any plans to expand Intersec Saudi and its footprint any further? Obviously, at the beginning, you said that you're close to outgrowing your venue.
Yeah, so Intersec Saudi is actually very promising for us as a brand, and the way it's spending in the kingdom now is giving us an insight of how we will be looking until the 2030 and actually beyond of that. So we're looking to grow the show for the following years to have more activations, more demonstration, and more involvement of government as well, to be matching up with what the government has to offer, and at the same time what we can offer to the government to support them in the plan of growth for their Vision 2030. So it's a big step for us, and we're working closely with them, and hopefully this will be translated on the ground for next year. So I guess next year we will be having bigger and bigger space, bigger demonstration. I always say that this show has the keyword or the golden word of double. So every year we're double the year before. So I believe for next year even will be double of what we had from terms of space, exhibitors, and even government support. So we're very optimistic about our growth in Saudi Arabia.
Well, the growth so far has definitely been, hugely impressive from everyone internationally to kind of witness how that's grown over recent years. And just before we part, lastly, is there anything else that you would like to mention or highlight about the show? And, to anybody looking to attend, what bit of advice would you give them, or how would you welcome them?
Yeah, so for this year, we'll be expecting everyone from the 1st until the 3rd of October when the show actually opens its doors. So everyone who's looking to be part of the show, visit the show, get insights of 1,000+ brands coming from 28 countries. They can go to our website and they can register for their free pass to be part of the show and to be part of the growth of the kingdom. So we're waiting to see everyone on site. We're expecting almost 17,000 visitors for this year. And I'm sure that we'll go beyond that, but we're very optimistic for this month. We're getting ready for the show.
I'm sure I can speak for everyone here when I say that, we're all incredibly excited to see what the show has in offer to all of us here and to attend the show. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for having me.